Guys, today we are starting work on this absolutely beautiful mint condition 1982 300D. This is the barn find in Virginia. The car is amazing. This is how I brought it back. You can just see, you can tell just from looking at the front grille the condition of this vehicle. Not even a single rock chip in those original Bosch headlight bezels. Anyway, so the first thing I've noticed with the car, we're going to go through the refurbishment or restoration process, whatever you want to call it. First thing I've noticed is when I turn the key, I hear the fan. You hear the auxiliary fan up there? Okay, so I noticed the auxiliary fan comes on and none of the window switches work. Now, all the windows are definitely not broken because none of the window switches work, and that auxiliary fan comes on. That clearly points to the auxiliary fan / window switch relay that is located behind the instrument cluster. So let's go ahead and turn this off. And there's a relay, I think, right behind the cluster back in this area. And that relay, when it fails, your fan comes on and none of the windows will work, including the back switches. So we're going to go ahead and pop this out. And rather than sticking little hooks back in here, I just pop off the covers on this on this panel here, pull the panel down, reach up, and I push out the cluster. So let's go ahead and do that. Anyway, what I've done, I popped the clips off. I've loosened, there's two little plastic screws down here. And then we're just gonna pull this cover down. There we go. Okay, these are the little, there's like a plastic screw. There's one on both sides. There you go. Gauge cluster out, or push the gauge cluster out from the bottom. There we go. We got that side out. This has clearly never been out of here. All right, there we go. The cluster is loose. Now I got to just disconnect some things from the back. Now there's a lot of resistance. It's hard to pull it out. So I'm actually going to get this panel totally removed and go up underneath there and make sure the wire or any of the cabling is not hung up so I don't break anything. All right, guys, I'm looking underneath here to see, it's probably the speedometer cable that is a little hung and preventing this from coming out. But I'm gonna, while I work on that, I wanted to show you guys underneath here. Look how clean all this looks. It looks brand new under here. They're normally always really clean, but this has got to be the cleanest. Look up here at the vacuum lines. And all the rubber, everything is perfect. It's crazy. All the original wrapping and sheath, it's beautiful up under here. I don't see, normally it's at least dusty or there's some signs of age or something. And this just looks brand new. Yeah, that's cool. So what I'm doing, I'm getting up. Well, you guys really can't see. There's some insulation right there, so I'm just pulling that back so I can look at the back of the cluster and start detaching some things. But yeah, all the insulation is still intact. Look at the original insulation on the kick panel, or the panel under the dash. So cool. I love working on these super low mileage cars. Okay, we got it to come out, and in fact, what it was is, you can see right there, you see that cable right there? That's the speedometer cable, and it was just tucked up in there so tight with the insulation that I had to go in there and give it a little slack in order to get that out. So I'm going to unplug all these connectors. And there's a big connector. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. There's a big connector on this side. And then we'll pull this out and we can get access to the relay that controls the auxiliary fan and the window switches. And we're going to replace that. All right, so I got a 10 millimeter, and you can see right there, that's where the oil line was attached. And then we got the main harness plug off. That's attached right here. It is, see it right down there, but behind that really big harness, that's a mechanical oil line. Screws in the back of this copper or brass fitting with a 10 millimeter. Next, we need to remove the clock, which is right here. And on this one, actually this one may be the clock. That's either the that one or this one up here. Sorry, the big one's the tachometer, and the small one is power for the clock. And then we have our bulbs. So on this car, we see that the blue bulb is on the outer edge, and then we skip one, and there we go. And then the black and green bulb is right there. So we'll go ahead and pull those bulbs out, and then we will disconnect the speedometer signal right here, and then we can pull out the cluster and get to that relay. All right, we have everything unplugged, and here is the gauge cluster. Let's go set this on the bench over here. All right, there we go. This is what basically a mint condition low mileage gauge cluster looks like. Now you can see, like from the factory, how they put this tape on here. It came off right there, but that shows the people that are installing the bulbs that the bulb goes here and here. They tape off the other holes. There's the rheostat. While this is out, I'll spray a little. That's the dimmer switch. I'll spray a little deox in there. There's your speedometer connection right there. It's mechanical. Right here, that's your main power harness, and here's the oil. And then you have various bulbs in here. So anyway, let's just keep this here, and let's go look at this relay. All right, guys, here is where the relay is. You just pull back the insulation, and there it is, right there. That is the window and aux fan relay. And this has appeared to have failed. Let me turn off the light. Yeah, this appears to have failed. So we're going to replace this one, made in West Germany. There we go. There's our part number, 001-542-0219. So we're going to order another one of these and see if the aux fan shuts off and our windows come back to life. Okay, actually, guys, just my luck, I had a stash of relays in my parts drawer over there. These are all relays pulled from other cars. So, same exact part number. So let's get this plugged in and see if this resolves the issue. Okay, I just reached back there, plugged our old stock relay back in there. Voila! Oh, that's the rear window, front window. Good. Now, of course, I'm going to lubricate all these, but our fan is still going. So the relay actually resolved the window issue, and now I have to track down, maybe there was another relay for the aux fan, so I'm going to track down what's making that turn on. All right, guys, I made a mistake earlier. That relay that I replaced under the dash, that's only for the windows. The relay for the auxiliary fan is right here under the little, there's a black plastic cover. Because if I remove this relay, the auxiliary fan turns off. And I've swapped out a couple of different relays here with no success. So I know the relay is good. I think there's a temperature switch over here. I know. Aha. There's the problem. Something. Oh, there we go. It looks like for some reason somebody spliced these two together. They put a jumper in there, and those actually plug into the temperature switch right here. So that's why that fan is always on. So let me pop this splice out and plug it back in to that's the AC switch, I guess. I'm not sure what you call that. It's not a temperature switch. So let me plug this back in here, and we're going to see what happens to that. Okay, that was the issue. Because if I turn the key now, the aux fan does not come on. So I'm guessing someone was trying to disable or have the aux fan come on all the time. I don't know, but we're gonna, of course, make sure the AC system works. We'll maybe replace this temperature, not temperature, it's like a pressure switch. Sorry if I'm calling that the wrong thing, but it's hooked into the dryer. So I'm going to connect that back up. Of course, we're going to make sure the system works. If it doesn't, we're going to fix the AC system. And that is why that aux fan was on all the time. So we'll plug that in correctly. And there we go. Someone had made this little jumper wire just to connect those two together and keep that aux fan on all the time. Okay, we have the wires correctly plugged back in to the pressure switch hooked up to the dryer. I'm sorry. Yeah, the pressure switch hooked up to the dryer. There we go. And now let's go turn the car to accessory position and see if that fan comes on. And make sure there's no smoke or anything over here. Okay, nothing crazy going on there. And this is the original R12 system. So I'll just recharge that. I've got some R12 and we'll see how that switch is functioning. But anyway, so we figured out what the issue was with the auxiliary fan running. Relays are fine there. So I'll put this cap back on. We fixed the windows by just simply replacing the relay behind the dash. When you pick up these cars, when they're old, 30 years old, and you go in here to pull here, let me show you the hood release. When you go in here to pull this, sometimes they'll be very stiff and very difficult to pop the hood. And guys, the only reason that happens is because the latches are no longer lubricated. So you can see, I put some grease, some lubrication on there, and we put it up there. And that resolves that issue. It's because this has like a little hook on it. When it goes in the hood, when you try to pull it, it's just like really, it's ungreased and it's trying to slide across the metal connection up here. And it's really hard to pull. So you grease that up and it's really easy. Here, I'll show you guys. So we'll just close that back. Really easy fix. And now it's real easy to pop the hood. Anyway, I'm not going to open the hood up, but the other thing I want to do on this car is I've noticed, just like always, that little bitty rubber tab has, rotted and kind of broken apart right there. And that's what causes the doors. See? The door doesn't shut. You got to slam it. When you slam it, it does shut. And that's because that stupid little tab breaks off. It's like that on like 90% of the cars I look at. And it's usually on the driver's side because that's the car, the side that gets used. Let me go over here and look on the passenger side. Oh no, look, this one needs one on the passenger side too. Yep, see? You got to slam the door when those are missing. So we'll replace those. Yep, we need to replace them on the back doors too. So I'm going to replace it. See It's like that on just about every single car. Yep, there it is too. So let's go ahead and get all these popped off, and I order the tabs. Y'all have seen this before, but I have a whole bag of the replacement tabs. There's a company that's making them in Thailand. Let's get this out of here. There we go. Here's the company making them in Thailand, Auto Parts Professional, and they're fantastic. Let me open up this bag. You can see there's the little tab, and exactly the same design as Mercedes. So you can keep your original door strikers and just replace those. So we're going to go ahead and knock that out and get this, we'll put this gauge cluster back in the car. All right, we have the gauge cluster back in. Got our panel. Now we just want to put our screw covers back on here. Those just snap right on there like that. There we go. And got our little plastic screws back under there. You have to put on the emergency brake in order to remove this panel. So we'll just take off the, oops, sorry, that was the hood. Take off the emergency brake now, and there we go. Back to factory. Next thing we want to do is tackle these worn out little rubber pieces and replace those on all the doors. All right, guys, I went ahead and broke the bolts loose here, and I'm just taking them out. And then we're going to replace the little rubber insert. Let me just get this off here. All right, and there's going to be spacers behind here. Okay, this one, you can see we've got, looks like one spacer. And you can see the outline of where this was. So when you put it back on, you know, I used to like draw a little mark around it, but then I discovered you can see the actual outline. And these nuts, these are like caged nuts on the back, so don't worry about those falling down inside the door. So let's go ahead and we will now pop this piece out and replace that rubber piece. So for the spacer, that's how it goes right there. So we're just going to lay that down on the ground, because you have to do this on just about every car. Whoa! So I just pulled that out. See how it slipped out, and there you can see that. See the crumbled debris from the crumbled plastic. See, it's a plastic piece. It's not made out of the same material. The door striker is, clean it out there. The door striker piece is made out of rubber. All you do, slip that little piece in there. Come on. Put it up there. And there we go. See? It goes in there like that. And it has a little tab that pops up through there. And that's it. You've replaced it. And then you just slide. See the little grooves right here? See if it'll focus. See, there's a groove there, and there's a little notch or a little beveled area here. So that's how it slides back in. You can't screw it up. It only goes one way. And there you go. There's the piece. That's what has to be replaced. So I'm going to do this on all the doors. I'll get this back on the door, and then we'll record how the door shuts now. Oh, something like that. We can always adjust it if we need to. Okay, we have all the bolts back in there, and they're just snug. They're just snug. I haven't tightened it up. And before we tighten them up, we just want to lightly go in here and make sure everything lines up, which it does. And then we'll go ahead and snug it up, and we'll try to shut that door and see what happens. All right, guys, we've got everything snugged up, and actually we've got everything tightened. I've got everything aligned. We've got the new piece in there. And watch how the door shuts now. See how easy that shuts? That's how they're supposed to work. You're not supposed to slam them. Wow, that's barely any force. That's great. All right, we just finished the replacement on the passenger side. Got our little new piece in there. And let's just check this. Look how nice that door closes now. That's how it's supposed to work. All right, I just finished up the back doors. So now we have these shutting. See, we got the, new piece in there. God, that shuts good now. Anyway, so all those are done. So that's all I'm doing today on this car. Kind of refurbished a lot of stuff on there today, and we're just going to keep going. Anyway, enjoy the series. And this car is it's super low mileage, so this one's going to be ready pretty soon. So stay posted, and look, if you want to get an email when new inventory is posted onto the website, if you go to the website and go to the Our Cars section, there's a place you can enter your email address. And we don't send out spam emails or anything, but when a new car is listed on the site, you'll get an email notification that a new car is finished and ready for sale. Anyway, like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.